and welcome back to the 52-week project. This week's photo shoot is going to be a photo shoot in collaboration with a modeling agency, and it was actually a photo shoot that was initiated by them, not myself, and they contacted me and said that they had this new face in. The model was named Grace, and she was in need of some more images for her portfolio, so they asked if I would be interested in shooting her. And I was. They sent through a few digitals of her and really thought that she had a really great look and decided to organise a photo shoot the next week. So I was really happy with how the images turned out in the end. It was a collaboration in the sense that they were picking a lot of the images at the end. So I sent them a proof sheet and then they picked the images that they thought were going to show off her features best. And sometimes this might happen if you are working in conjunction with modeling agencies. Sometimes they prefer to do that. I don't usually do that with this particular modeling agency, but I think because she was quite young and she needed a lot of images to start off her portfolio with, and that I was one of the first shoots I think that she did, so it was kind of a bit more of a case of being a little bit more pickier with the images. So as I said, the model for the week was Grace, and she was really lovely. We had a really fun time shooting together, and it was interesting because it was one of her first shoots that she'd done. I think she'd only done one prior to the one that we did. So really great to shoot with Grace. She had a lot of energy, which was great, and she took direction pretty well. It was, like with most photo shoots with new faces, it always is a little bit of a challenge to get them moving and to get them doing different expressions and that sort of thing, but like I said, I think Grace took direction really well. Now I'm going to get into the photos and show you guys which ones I chose in my top 5 for the week and which ones I might not have liked as much. So this first photo here is not one of my favourites for the week. It's one of the only landscape shots that I actually took for this particular shoot. I don't mind Grace's expression in it, but I do think it's a little bit too simple. I do like simplistic photos, but when it's too simple, that's when I tend to not put it in my portfolio, so it's not going to be in my top 5 this week. This photo I do like of Grace, although I do feel like her legs look a little bit misplaced, and I probably wouldn't have chosen this photo for my portfolio from the start, or even to probably edit. So I don't really like the image overall. I do think that the hand positioning is kind of interesting, so I do like that about the image, but not one of my favourites for the week. This photo I actually really do like, and it is going to be in my top 5 for the week. I really like the colouring of the leaves, and I like how simplistic the photo is overall. This was a very natural photo shoot, so I think that this image in particular conveys that, and really like how it turned out. This is another photo that's going to be in my top 5, and I just think Grace looks stunning in it. I think it shows off her features really well. It's a nice, clean, natural shot, which is exactly what the agency wanted. And it's nice to have something like that maybe in my portfolio for that sort of thing, for model portfolios in future. Really good to have in my portfolio for that, so really like how that came out. This image isn't going to be in my top 5. This is just one of those shots where I wanted to get a full body image of Grace, and I think it's nice. It's very simple, but like I said, too simple is not really good enough for my portfolio these days. I do need to create that little bit more interest in my images. So this is kind of good to show off her as a model, but maybe not so much for my portfolio. This is another one of my favourites for the week, and it is going to be in my top 5. I really love Grace's expression in this. I like how the red flowers behind her are kind of framing her, and I really think that that creates a little bit more interest in the image, which is what I wanted. So I do like how this photo looks overall, and it is going to be in my top 5. This is another photo in my top 5 this week, and nice to have another black and white photo in there actually, because I haven't been having a lot of black and white recently in a lot of my shoots. I've been working with a lot of colour, and I just haven't been able to bring myself to convert any images into black and white. So this is kind of nice for me to have in my portfolio, I think. Just a really nice natural shot, and like how that one turned out as well. This image is a really pretty shot of Grace, but once again I do feel like it is a bit too simplistic. Not really interesting enough for my portfolio, but maybe good for her to show off her features for her modelling portfolio. This photo, similar sort of thing once again, and the next photo, I do feel like they are quite simplistic, nice shots to show off Grace's features, but not really good for me in my portfolio. And I think this is where the agency did come in with picking their own images this time around. Obviously I culled it down originally and showed them what the best images were, so anything without blurriness or where she had her eyes closed, and just generally better photographs. But I do feel like these probably would not have been my main choice for my portfolio in this instance. And this photo is also going to be my top 5. So I've got another black and white photo here, which is nice. And I think Grace has a bit of a fashion element to her in this one, and I really like that. I think it shows a bit more of a fashionable image, which is good for her portfolio too. So that's why it's going to be in my top 5. This is also a really nice shot of Grace, and like I said, if I had top 6, this would probably be in there. But I do think that it just kind of lacks that little bit more of expression. I think if Grace had a different expression in this one, I might have chosen it for my top 5, but not on this particular occasion. And this is the last photo of the week, and once again, a nice shot to show off Grace's features, but not so much for my portfolio. So I think the ones that I've picked this week will be more or less what I needed for a very natural modelling portfolio to show off in my own portfolio. So I think my favourite image this week would definitely have to be this image here, and I think just because of the extra colour around Grace, and I really like her expression in this one. I think my number 2 for the week would be this image, but I think overall as a creative image, this one just sort of speaks to me a little bit more. So that's what I would choose as my number 1. So in terms of things that I could have done to improve this week, I actually wish I'd brought a reflector along for a few of these images. There was a bit of cloud at times, and although cloud is really good, I find that when I've got my silver reflector, it tends to bounce the light a little bit stronger against the model's face, and I feel like in this instance it would have just given that little bit more contrast and to the highlights on her skin tone, on her makeup. I think it would have just made them pop a little bit more, and sometimes the lighting can be very flat on a cloudy day as well. That was the only thing that I really could think of that stood out to me. Everything else was very much not necessarily a shoot that I had sought out to get all these specific images from. It was just kind of more of a relaxed, this is what we're doing with the agency in collaboration, and see what I can come up with. So I didn't put too much stress and pressure on myself this week to really improve. It was just all about getting some really nice, clean, natural images. And what I think I did well was I think that I directed Grace well this week. You know, it's always hard when you're a new model, and it's always hard to know how you look on camera, as I always say, and I get that, and I think I work pretty well with new models in terms of directing them, because I know what it's like to be self-conscious at times, and I know what it's like to be a bit introverted, especially with a lot of the models being quite shy on their first time around. So I think I did direct Grace well this week. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do. And let me know what you guys would like to see in coming weeks, and for 2019, because that's coming up really fast, and I will no longer have the 52-week project going anymore. Still trying to finish it by the end of this year. I actually have quite a few shoots in backlog that I have to get videos out for, so I'm a lot further along than I think. This might be week 29, week 30, I can't even remember at the moment. I'm getting so lost with dates and times, but let me know what you guys want to see. I really, really love hearing what you guys are interested in and what you find interesting on my channel, so feel free to put it in the comments section below. Thanks again guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!